For this edition of After Hours with Cade, we're switching it up just a little bit. This time around, I spoke with FYU, the owner of FYU Recording Studios here in Lawton, and a local producer who has spent the past 12 years working to enhance the quality of music coming from the area and helping put Oklahoma artists in the spotlight.
My name is Andrew FYU Jackson, and I am a music producer engineer here based in Lawton, Oklahoma. Pretty much raised here since I was 2 years old, born in Norman. Since then, it's been, me, my mother, my grandmother, and brother since then here in Lawton, Oklahoma. When I used to listen to music, I used to always, as a child, I didn't know what this was, but I used to say, oh, this song could have went better if it sounded like this. Or if it, maybe if they would have moved this part here to this part, then it probably would have been better. But I guess just growing up, I wanted to be a football player. And then in 2001, my future wife passed away. Her name was Aaliyah, and she was my favorite R&B singer. And I went and listened to her songs and found out that all the songs that I enjoyed the most were produced by a guy named Timbaland. Since then, I was locked in on music every day since then.
Outside of Timbaland, who was some of your biggest influencers in production?
Oh, man. Pharrell, Quincy Jones, the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, all the greats pretty much, because you have to, in order to become great, which is what I want to become, you have to study the greats. So I look to all the greats.
I know that you started FYU Recording Studios here in 2011. Talk to me about what your goals were when you initially started the recording studio versus what your goals are now.
Okay, so back then when I started the studio in 2011, I was noticing that all the music that was coming out of this area, it was a lot of complaints about the quality, pretty much, to put it in layman's terms. The quality wasn't as good as it could be, and you can tell that it was a quote-unquote local artist. So after I landed a placement with Joe Budden, I just decided to use that kind of notoriety and open up FYU Recording Studio. And my goal was to provide a highly professional sound at a lightning speed for a affordable price. So that's the void I wanted to fill, was to make studio time and the studio affordable, but also to bring it to a point to where you could no longer tell that it was a Oklahoma or a local artist, because it sounds just as good, if not better, than what's going on in the industry. My goals now is the Grammys, the world. My goal is to become the first producer to have number ones in all genres: rock, country, hip hop, pop, world, in different countries, whatever the type of genre that they specialize in. I want to make an impact in that. And so I'm a student of all music, of all world music. I love it all. So that is my goal now, is to expand and, of course, help other people from the area, get in the door and everything like that. So, yeah.
I know you talked about how we needed quality producers here in town, and that's what initially got you to create the studio. Would you say that that's what's kept you in Lawton? What has stopped you from moving the studio to a bigger market area?
Wow, that's a good question. I enjoy working here, of course. I enjoy all the talent that's here. I think God has a time for everything. So that's truly what I believe. So whenever he sees fit and whenever he sees it's time to move or time to expand, I'm open to that. So, yeah.
Not that I'm trying to get you to move, obviously. We need people like you here in town, yeah. And it would be amazing for you to win a Grammy one day. Like Lawton-based producer.
Exactly.
It's what we need in town, working with these up-and-coming artists.
Yes, and that is a vision I had of mine as well, is to bring the industry here. It's just as I continue to move forward, it's kind of hard to kind of bring the industry here if you're not in these people's faces. So the face-to-face connection is kind of what's missing, versus just doing everything over the internet. So I know once I work with an artist in the studio, then it's pretty much from that point on, we working. So I would love to, bring the industry here. That'd be my first one. That'd be great, actually.
Well, collaborating with, the majority of the people in Southwest Oklahoma, what are your views on the current music scene here?
I think it's a lot of people that's driven, a lot of people that is going after their dreams. I'm loving to assist in that. I'm very passionate about that. I love to see somebody that come in that have never even been in a recording studio before and they have this dream in their head, and then to see them go on and do shows here in town and, in Atlanta and Dallas and New York and everything like that. I really take joy in that and to help be a part of bringing their dream to life. So I don't know if that answered the question, but it's a lot of people that's going after it here.
Do you have any prerequisites or requirements when you work with new artists? Do they already have to have music put out? Is there anything that you look at before you just agree to work with somebody?
No, there's no prerequisite. If you have something you want to do or a vision of some sort, even if it's not fully completed, I can help you complete that vision. So all you got to do is try your best. That's all I ask from you, is to try your best. As long as you try your best, I can work with that and we can make it work.
Outside of you building your own portfolio, what drives you to continue collaborating with these new artists?
Just the drive that they have. Even seeing young people, sometimes it's things I can learn from them as well, even though they may not have been in the studio. Sometimes I ask them questions, pick their brain as well. Where do you want to go? What do you see for yourself? And then also, educate as far as teaching them about the industry, what to look out for and everything like that. So it's just pretty much just continuing the momentum, keeping it going.
Is there anything that you feel like could change in the current music scene and how local artists approach their music or how they approach promotion?
Yes. So I think the change could be if artists would just grasp onto who they are as individuals. Because I tell artists, it's only going to be one you. We already have an Eminem, we already have Lil Wayne, we already have Bon Jovi, whoever that you look to, and it's okay to be influenced by these people. But eventually you'll have to come into your own, because you being yourself is what's going to separate you from everybody else. So just really grasping your own identity and not necessarily, just focusing on doing what's quote unquote in at the moment, or the hot style or the hot sound of the moment. So that is something that I would urge all artists to do. Also, and study. Look at your history. For me to, be able to be blessed enough to run a studio for this long is because, one, I ain't taken for granted, and two, I looked into the greats before me and asked myself what it is about them that made them great. What it is about their style. You got to be a student if you really want to do this. There's a lot of people that want to do it, so you have to be willing to put in the work that majority aren't willing to do. So you got to get ready to work. That's what I would say.
Well, I mean, and that's a true testament. You've been doing that for the past 12 years with your recording studio.
Every day.
And you've actually worked with some pretty big names, including The Game, Joe Budden.
Right.
What sort of obstacles have you had to overcome to get your name in the industry?
Oh, so not being in people's faces and being from Oklahoma, unfortunately. Sometimes that they may have a preconceived notion of what it may sound like, especially, when I was first started the studio and right before I started the studio. Oh, you from Oklahoma? And then when they hear the music, they're shocked, so it's just that. And this music industry game is about who you know. There's a big part of it is who you know. So it may not be the most talented, but if you know the right person, you can quote unquote get on, so unfortunately right now Oklahoma doesn't have a lot of the who's who in the music industry, but we're going to change that.
Right now, who's the number one artist that you want to work with in your career?
Anybody. I know that's a PC answer. If I had to choose one, maybe Beyonce. Why not? But
let's shoot for the stars.
Let's shoot for the stars. Yeah. But each person is different, so each process is different. Each studio session is different, so I enjoy it all.
I don't think there's a better choice. I don't think there's a better choice, especially right now. What can we expect from you for the rest of the year?
Branching into the European market, I've teamed up with my cousin who's in Hamburg, Germany, who's running the station out there and everything like that. So we're actually helping artists get exposure in the German market. We had artists already here go out there and actually, do an interview for them and their listeners and play their music over the airwaves. He says he has about 1.8 million listeners listening in throughout the European Union. So it's really just bringing exposure across the pond from artists from here over there. So that's a big part of it. I'll go live now every Friday playing the unreleased music or just doing impromptu sessions and creations and everything like that, and just continue to help to build exposure and team up with people in the industry, hopefully to eventually bring bigger opportunity here to this area.
So what I'm hearing is if local artists want some international fame, they need to come work with Future Recording Studios.
Come on now. Yes, you said it.
Is there a genre that you've yet to venture into?
Really, I want to produce a band. So I would love to do I would love to do something like we was talking about earlier, like a System of a Down, Linkin Park, or Korn. But really, ideally, okay, my ideal thing is I have this vision of making the world's greatest show. And in this world's greatest show, we are introducing people to all different types of music from different cultures. So that's including, music from Asia and Africa and traditional music from Europe and everything like that, and bringing it in and to where everybody be able to consume it and understand it. So that's my ultimate goal, is to bring the world of music under one kind of umbrella, in a way.
What are your goals for the Lawton music scene and Future Recording Studios over the next 5 years?
Over the next 5 years, a Grammy. A Grammy is worldwide recognition, helping people get their dreams out and bringing it into reality. Nothing is impossible. This is how I think. Nothing is impossible. You can't tell me anything is impossible. Because even at the time when I opened the studio, a lot of people would say, oh, this is not a music market. There may not be enough artists to sustain a living or anything like that. But, you do your research, it can be done.
Is there anything that I have not discussed or had a chance to mention that you would like to before we end?
Keep God first, I would say. Keep faith. Faith is the foundation of it all. I know this may not be a religious segment, but the Bible has a lot of scripture and advice in there that will help you to be able to navigate and have discernment when you come across obstacles or people that may not mean well by you. And so I would definitely say that. And then again, I do all types of music, and I'm looking to continue to expand and do more genres and venture out and do other things.